I just built an AI agent that saves contractors over 60k a year. How? Well, most construction projects go way over budget. And it's not because people are dumb. It's just that nobody wants to look at a spreadsheet after 12 hours on site. So instead, I built an AI agent that you can literally call on the phone while you're driving to a next job. Because unlike humans, AI actually loves the numbers. It'll tell you exactly how much budget is left and what you need to reorder, all in plain English. And this isn't future tech, by the way, it's already working. So to prove it, today I'll first of all show you a live demo, and second I'll break down exactly how it works so you can see if this is something for your company. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. My name's Liam. I've helped many companies use AI to save quite a lot of money. If you would like to do the same for your company and work with me, there are links in the description, and I've opened up 3 spots for a completely free AI consultation call. I hope to see you in there, and now let's dive into the live demo. Here we are inside of Vappy. Vappy is one of the many softwares I'm going to show you in today's video, and lots of automations in the background as well. Now before I get too technical, let me just call the AI and show you what it sounds like. And the first thing you will see is it's going to recognize me by my phone number, greet me by my name, and also know which job I'm going to. And then it can use that to tell me about all of these numbers and cut through all of this data to help me out. So instead of me explaining, let me just show you what it sounds like. And all we need to do is call it, and you will see that stuff happens in the background instantly. But I'll break that down in a moment for you.
Hey, this is Kate. How can I help you, Liam?
Hey, yeah, I was wondering about my insulation budget for my current project. Could you tell me about that, please?
Of course, Liam. I see that you're currently working on the 34 Sunset Terrace project. You mentioned the insulation budget. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, if you could give me some overview on that, that'd be fantastic.
The budget allocated for the insulation category at 34 Sunset Terrace is $3,000. So far, $1,020 has been spent, which means you're currently under budget by $1,980 for insulation. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
Great. Yeah, let's could you just leave a note on that project and say that we need to reorder 50% more insulation than what we originally thought, please?
What note would you like me to leave?
Yeah, just probably 50% more of the category 1 insulation, and then maybe 20% more of category 2 insulation would be great.
You'd like to leave a note stating reorder 50% more of category 1 insulation and 20% more of category 2 insulation. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
The note has been successfully added to the 34 Sunset Terrace project. Is there anything else I can help you with?
That's good. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Alright, so that was pretty cool. Now, there's a few things that happened. I tried to keep this example also quite simple so you can understand it. But first of all, is we have one automation which in the background basically checks who's calling, searches this Google Sheet, and then by my phone number, I was able to see this is the phone number that's calling. Obviously, Liam is calling, and he's currently working on this project over here. Now, each individual project also has project overviews, right? So we have one sheet for each project, and as you can see, the data gets quite complex after a while. And all you had to do was say, I need to know about my insulation budget, for example. It already knew which one of these projects you're working on. You can, of course, ask for any one of these, but it saves time because it just already knows, right, which project you're probably asking about. And then it looked through, it found the total budget, it compared all of these numbers in terms of total spent, told me what, how much I had left, and then also it allowed me to leave a note at the bottom, added the time of the note, and also exactly in like literally the exact detail that I mentioned, left a note in terms of what we need to reorder and added that to the spreadsheet in the right place as well, by the way. Let me show you how this works on the back end. So as I already mentioned, we're using 2 different softwares here. We have, or 3, I guess. We have a Google Sheet, right? Then we're using Vappy for the AI agent, which I'll break down the prompt and all the settings in a second. And then we've also got the automation software in the background, N8N. So as I said, there's 2 automations. One automation here, which searches through the Google Sheet as soon as somebody calls. As soon as somebody calls, it's going to search the sheet and then send that information into our assistant. And next, once we're in the assistant, it'll connect over here. Now, if you've never seen Vappy before, I'm going to go through this pretty briefly, just so you roughly understand what's possible. So basically what this is, it's an AI agent software, which means that you can build an AI which can actually take actions in the real world. And the special thing about Vappy is that you can put it on a phone number, right? It can speak, which is, the fastest way of communicating. No need to type something while you're driving. You can just call it and talk, which is very useful. And you can choose different voices here. You can make it sound like a guy or a girl. You can give it an Australian accent if you want to. There's lots of possibilities. And then over here you have the prompt. So you can choose which model, which provider. There's too many to choose from, and it doesn't really matter which provider you take. A good rule of thumb, take OpenAI and 4.0 cluster or 4.1, 4.1 if it's a longer prompt. And then you can see we have a first message, which is, hey, this is Kate, how can I help you? Name. And you will see that these brackets here, they also surface in over here, right? Now, date, and so on. Then also down here again in current project. And this is basically what gets sent through in this first automation. So what we do is we basically send through, and this is getting very technical, but this is the code behind it, is we tell it, this is the assistant ID, right? This is the assistant we want to connect on the phone. And then that assistant has variables, right? So the name, I want you to replace that with the name that we just extracted from the Google Sheets. So as you can see here on the right, you can see what actually gets put into the assistant. So we're going to inject and actually change the prompt before the call connects. So now the assistant has literally inbuilt into its prompt that my name is Liam and that this is my current project. And this is so cool because, and by the way, this gets deleted as soon as somebody hangs up, right? If two people call at the same time, also not a problem. It can do, I think, 10 calls simultaneously by default. You can even increase that number if you want to, but this is just a great way of changing the prompt depending on who's calling. And then next, we're going to go into the system prompt here. You also have things like the current time. This is an inbuilt variable so that the AI knows what's the date, what's the time, and it can add that into, into the spreadsheet, into the notes as well later. So basically, in the prompt, I'm not going to do a full prompting tutorial, but effectively we have a role section telling it who it is, where it works, at a fictional construction company in this case. The context, so basically in which context is the AI, describing that it's on a phone call in this case, telling it the details about the customer, right, that we just injected into the prompt, giving it specifics to how it can talk, agent roles, so what can it do? In this case, we told it you can search for jobs to give details and also leave notes, right, with the note tool here. And all of the rest is just like tone and style, how do you want it to sound, what should you avoid saying, and so on. And the interesting part for you here to know is that you can give it tools. So if you look up here in the tools section, we've added two tools, note and search jobs. And we're going to review the tools over here. And you can see here, let's start with search jobs. We've told it you can use this tool to search for job details. So now the AI knows, okay, I can use this for a specific use case. Now in here, we've told it, please send 2 bits of information to our automation software NetN in the background here. So we've told it, first of all, what I want you to send through is the job name, right? So the name of the job. And then, where's the next one? And then second, we also send across the question that the caller asked, right? So the question the caller has about this job. In this case, for example, what's the insulation budget? We do the same thing for note. We basically tell it you can use this tool to leave a note on a job. Once again, we extract down here the job name and also the note that the person wants to leave. Now what the AI does is it says, okay, we need to summarize the conversation, extract the name of the job and the note, and then we're going to send that over here. So this webhook over here receives it, and then over here, it basically decides which tool did it use. If it uses the note tool, it goes down here. If it uses the job search tool, it goes up here. Now, first of all, what we do is we get all the data from a specific Google Sheet. In this case, the sheet name is also the name of the job, right? So we can send through and tell this Google Sheet, please use search the Google sheet that the caller just said. So for example, 34 Sunset Terrace, please only search this sheet. We extract all the information from that sheet, and then next we send that into code, which basically condenses it down into the right formatting. So this is just some custom code that I wrote for formatting it down into one chunk of information, which then an AI model like OpenAI can handle. Now in here we've given it a very basic prompt as well for a real, in this case this is just an example, but in reality this would be a little bit more well engineered, but the gist of it is the same. We've told it that it's a data analyst for construction projects. User has just asked a question. Please listen to the question. This red part here is the question that gets sent through, right? So the AI model is talking to another. VAPI is basically telling this AI, please search for this question, and it's giving it the question. In this case, it's undefined because I haven't sent anything through right now, but it'll basically search for that question based on the data of the current job, which this gray part over here is what comes from the code. And then what this AI model does is it writes an answer, and then we send that answer back into VAPI, and then VAPI can keep talking with that newfound information. And the core principle here for you to understand is that you should, when you're building AIs, you can't have one AI do everything. We can't just send the whole Google Sheet information back into VAPI because it's going to get confused. Like, it's already trying to maintain a conversation, sound natural, trying to decide when do I use the note, when do I use the job search tool. It has enough to do already. So we can't really ask it to analyze the entire spreadsheet as well. So in this case, we outsource it to a second AI model, which writes the response, and only that response gets sent back into VAPI. All right. And the similar logic applies for making the note. Basically, VAPI once again tells this AI, not this AI, but tells this server, I've got 2 bits of information. Please add this note to this job. And as you can see in here, once again, the job, right, by name in this case is the name of the construction project. So this is the sheet you're allowed to add it to. And then in these 2 fields, we basically add the note that gets sent through, right, which is reorder 50% of category 1. And then in this field up here, we add the date and time, the current date and time. And then this Google Sheets module, of course, connects to our Google Sheet here, and then can inject that into the Google Sheet. So that's pretty cool. And all of that hands-free, right? And of course, this is just like a baby example of what actually would happen. We can add a ton more features to this. We can make this thing write quotes for you. We can make it, like, there's infinite amount of possibilities that you can build onto this. But I think hopefully now you've understood that you can talk to an AI and have it take real world actions, which is very, very cool. Alright, so I hope you learned something new in this video and were able to see a real world use case for something like this. Now the implications are of course massive. You can expand this into so many more tools and things, but even this small example is really a lifesaver when you're on the road and you don't have the hands free to look up some very important information. If you'd like to work with me and explore how we can work with you to use AI in your construction company, then you can use the first link down below to book a free AI consultation call. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you in the next video.